Hello, Has Reviews here, and well, I guess you can tell off the hat. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is today's review. So I guess I should go over my thoughts on the other four films. Raiders of the Lost Ark is great, it's iconic. Um, Pretty much brought the action adventure films of the 50s back and popularized them again. It was great. Temple of Doom. I know people don't have mixed feelings towards it, but honestly, I still think it's a worthy follow up. Gotta remember it is set before Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is why certain things went. Um, they did different story. The story was a bit different, and yeah, there's some weak moments like Willie in particular, and I think some things as well. But like of course, the opening song. But yeah, it's still a good film. Last Crusade, love it. It is fantastic. I love everything in it. It's the best film in my view of the indie trilogy. I love Sean Connery. I love all the lines. I love the story. I love the whole adventure. Everything was great. The opening set in the past was fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. Temple La Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I don't think it deserves as much of the hate it gets. I mean, it's not really a good movie. I will admit that, but and yes, there are a lot of problems with it, like the distracting use of CGI, the aliens being a thing. Um, some of the backstabbing of one of Indy's close friends multiple times. Uh, geez, what was the other thing I like? I guess, and a few other things too here and there. But yeah, I still think it was fine. I thought the idea of making Russians the villains this time, since we're past the World War Two, makes sense. And I don't think Shia LaBeouf deserves as much hate as he gets for his performance as Mutt. But as I said, and it's still not a good movie, personally. And oh yeah, the fridge, yeah, that's stupid, but I don't think it's the most stupid thing in that. But now we get the Dial of Destiny. This is the fifth and last Indiana Jones film. They pretty much confirmed it. In fact, Harrison Ford's pretty much confirmed it too. I mean, he's in his 80s. Give him a break. And I mean, Steven Spielberg is not directing this though. He is an executive producer. Instead, they're giving him the role of director to, I think, the guy who directed Logan, which makes sense. He sort of fits with the whole aging hero thing. And of course, John Williams returns for probably his last film score. I hope. Look, if he doesn't want to retire, I'm okay with it. But just stick with documentaries. This is a good way for you to finish off your career. You're 91. He's older than Harrison Ford. I know composing music isn't as rigorous as acting, but I mean, come on, you've left a good legacy, John. You can call it quits. And yeah, the final film for Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones before he officially becomes the president of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah, he's playing the president in the MCU. Jeez, we'll talk about that. President Hulk. Oh, jeez. Oh, maybe I'll finally see. I'll see what happens when Captain America 4 comes out next year with what Harrison Ford does. But either way, what's the premise? We begin off much like Last Crusade with a flashback to the past, where we see Indy like trying to locate a religious artifact that the Nazis have stole right around the end of World War Two. Um, the de-aging effects used on Harrison Ford are okay, but they're not perfect, really. You can definitely tell in certain areas, but for what it is, I mean, if you want to emulate the opening of Last Crusade, I guess this is okay. And it does iterate what the main plot line is for this. It's not with, I mean, with Last Crusade, it wasn't really a teaser what was the main thread of, the only real teaser what the thread was, main plot line was for the film was just the brief snippet of Sean Connery doing his research for the Holy Grail. But that was really about it. But with that said, so on the so Indiana Jones is officially on the day of the moon landing. Indiana Jones is officially decided to retire as a professor, and is looking forward to taking a step back from his adventures after a rough separation from Marion, uh, but I'm not going to reveal what is going on. I look, Shia LaBeouf is not in it, so I guess you can kind of see why Indy is separated from Marion, but I don't want to say it. I just think it's a cheap way. I mean, they do give a valid reason to the time frame, but I guess. But he is unexpectedly reunited with his long lost goddaughter, um, whose father was the person Indy was working with in in the opening. She's after what is an artifact linked to Archimedes, known as the Dial of Destiny, who her father told her that Indy destroyed after he collected it from him. But Indy didn't, and she plans on taking it to sell it for a large amount of money. The only problem is the CIA, with a old Nazi enemy of Indy's, is on the chase of his goddaughter, and of course Indiana Jones gets roped into it. Thankfully, he gets framed for the fiasco that happens during the parade. After Sala successfully gets him out of the country to track down his goddaughter, which we'll get to that later. But Indy tracks down his goddaughter and her child accomplice, and they must escape from the Nazi leader who plans on grabbing the dial to go back in time and stop the Nazis from losing World War Two. And yeah, so that's basically what I can say. Now let's start off with I think the first thing is that well, I should easily say that the performances are good all around. I mean, I I think no one gave a really bad performance. The one thing that was a concern for me, and I think a lot of people, was the CGI. The CGI in the first, in the fourth, in Crystal Skull was so distracting because of how much time they used it. And while there is still quite a bit of CGI here used, it's not as distracting. I mean, there are a few scenes here and there that do feel like a bit of a cop out, and some and using being some real seeing the real thing would have been better instead of using computers, especially since we're starting to see less and less CGI used in films when it can be helped. It's not as distracting. There are a few moments here and there. Like I said, the de-aging effects on Harrison Ford are hit and miss, and there are some other scenes too, which including there is one scene I can't take seriously of action. That's when Harrison Ford goes deep sea diving to collect one of the missing pieces of the Dial of Destiny. I'm sorry, I just can't accept that. I know people in that age can do it. I mean, David Attenborough's done it a bunch of times, but and he's in his 90s, but and he did in his 80s and that. I'm just fine with that. But look, I'm just saying, with I just couldn't take it seriously with Harrison Ford. I'm just sorry with that, in my view. But yeah, I do think the CGI is better at the very least than Crystal Skull. I think the villain is much better. That's the guy who played the villain Chryselius in the first Doctor Strange, playing this Nazi leader. I thought he did better. He was definitely good. He's better than what he was in Doctor Strange. He was forgettable in that. The music, John Williams, great, fantastic, love it. As I said, I really hope this is his last. I think it's a perfect way for him to bow out and just maybe, I don't know, focus on documentaries if he really wants to continue. The motorcycle chase in this, well, I would say the motorcycle chase in Crystal Skull was probably the best thing in the film. It's actually, because it was actually happening. This is still creative considering freewheel. This was a Indy's driving a freewheel slow motorcycle in the Middle East. That's fine. I thought it was okay. And at the very least, there aren't that many dumb moments. There are a few, but not many. I can accept a few things. The only exception maybe being one of the few exceptions maybe being the climax when, you do actually see time travel. Yeah, it's a stretch. Um, they do tie into a bit of history with, that's the thing, the way they tie into the part, how time travel has happened before. I'm just like, okay, really? And that's how it works with with how, Archimedes discovered that it could be possible to dial destiny. That's far-fetched, to be fair. Yeah, that's. That's the thing. But yeah, there are still some plenty of problems. I mean, I thought the ending, um, uh, I just felt it was a bit of a cop out because of, I mean, I know Indy's goddaughter learned a bit with him, and I guess in a way it's kind of hard. I mean, she doesn't respect him fully, much like Mutt Watt didn't respect him that much in in Crystal Skull. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like maybe it would have been an okay enough ending if Indy's choice he wanted to make actually went through. I mean, but I do get he needs to have a resolution with some major um burden on his back. I will say, as I said, there are stupid moments in this. As I said, I couldn't. I also couldn't take the deep sea diving that seriously. Only one memorable line though. And that's, I mean, a friend of mine can think of one another, but the only one I can remember is the one in the trailer that Salah says, "Go give him hell, Indiana Jones." Speaking of which, I wanted more of Salah. Salah's my favorite character in the older films. That being Raiders and Last Crusade. He is in again. He's in Temple of Doom. And seeing John Rhys Davies back is great. I just wanted more of him. Really, I want Salah. He's my favorite character. Come on. And there are plenty of plot threads and characters that they include that they just forget about, like Indy being a fugitive of the United States for disrupting their moon landing uh, parade. That gets forgotten about a lot. And a CIA director who originally helps the Nazi villain. I'm like, okay, I don't know. She doesn't go anywhere as soon as India escapes from the Middle East. And oh yeah, even the plan of the villain, like if you've seen movies where set after World War II and the Nazis, and wishing to go back in time to correct the mistakes, you know what you've seen it before, and what their main objective is to fix it. It just seems like, yeah. And besides, how is he going to succeed in that? Time Look, if you all know the history of Nazi Germany, there's no way that there's no way the villain's plan would have succeeded. Like, there's no way he could have done what he did in order and not get killed off in the main. Get killed off after that if he actually succeeded. I'm just saying, there's no way that would have worked. At least in my view. If the film's actually done it good, but I don't know. I just couldn't take that seriously too. But for what it is, you must be wondering, do I hate it? No, I don't. But it's not as good as the original trilogy. It is definitely better than Crystal Skull. Maybe Temple of Doom could be seen as close in certain areas, but I would say it's still better. But it's still a decent enough film. In fact, honestly, I think it's better than say Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, just to be on a comparison with George Lucas's other big creation. I liked it enough. It's not perfect, but for what it is, one last ride, and in order to have a better finish finale compared to Crystal Skull, I'm okay with it. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's fine. It's a 6.5 out of 10 has stars. I would say go see it. Especially since this will be the end of Indiana Jones. It's worth a good send off, and I think it deserves at least a good viewing in cinemas, a decent enough exposure in cinemas. So that's what I'm trying to say. So, and if you're wondering what's next for my channel, I've already planned out a review for next, and hopefully I'll do. I know I've got some ideas for my next movie in theaters. I'm not going to reveal yet what it will be. Okay, I can tell you one thing. One movie I won't be seeing in theaters is Elemental. I've just rounded it up and I felt, no, I'll wait till it comes out on Disney Plus, and then I'll give it a watch and review. I will get to that when it comes out on Disney Plus. But one film I will see in theaters will be Oppenheimer. Who knows? There might be something else in them beforehand. I might give a shot, but I'm going to do some other stuff before I get to that. But in the meantime, House of Masterpieces out, and I shall see you in my next video. Ciao.